Welcome back to Science Lab. Science are happening because Jesus is coming. Before the break, I asked you the trivial question of the day. When was Google founded?
The three options were option A, 1988, option B, 1998, or option C, 2008.
The right answer is option B, September 4th, 1998. In the films, if an evil corporation or government wants to follow you, they slip a tracking device onto your car or on your shoes or wherever. Of course, now we carry smartphone everywhere, a personal GPS beacon that makes it easier for people to know what you are up to, whether that's your mom or your partner or your boss.
And recently, we found out that Google and Apple don't just know where you are, but know where you've been over the past week, the past month, the past year, and how long you've been there. This could have a massive impact on your life. Imagine the information on your company's phone in the hands of your employer. Suddenly, it's not so easy to have that off-site meeting, doctor's appointment, or long lunch. Let's start with the iPhone.
This screen available, the Settings app on your phone, shows where you have been in the past few days. Try it for yourself, but be warned, it's not for the faint-hearted. Many apps want your location too, and you can't necessarily trust what they say they are doing. For example, in April 2014, Snapchat was told off by the US Federal Trade Commission. Why? Because it sucked up people's location data without their consent, and it's exactly the same on Google's phones. A free app called Brightest Flashlight on Android demanded access to your location. People assumed it was something to do with knowing if it was dark where you were. In fact, it was to serve location-based ads. The FTC wrapped them for deceptive practices. And apps don't just want your location, they want access to your contacts, your calendar, your microphone, the phone's camera, and even email, so that they can build their own social networks, sell you targeted ads, or simply sell the data to another company, and who knows where it will be used. So what can you do about it? Well, if you have an iPhone, Apple allows you to manage these things in your privacy settings. And with the iPhone, you can also refuse to give any specific app your location or access to your calendar or contacts and so on, which should help to keep apps you don't trust yet from peeking into your phone unnecessarily. But if you have one of Google's Android phones and want to switch off any of those settings, well, you can't. It's hardwired into the phone's operating system, so you are either accept it or you find a new use for your phone. So that's a tension between these two companies. Google wants you to share your data because that helps it to serve ads and find its contact. Apple is generally aiming for the opposite, only collecting stuff that you choose to allow and anonymizing in the process. But apps are hungry for more and more access to our phones, which means we need to continually make decisions on what data we want to share with all these settings. A constant stream of choices to be made about our personal privacy. Sometimes there are evil corporations and their little trackers on cars seem a lot more manageable. The UK and US governments are both collecting massive amounts of information from the things we do on our phones and over the internet.
Revelations about the detailed location records stored on smartphones, including iPhones and Android devices, indicates just how much information companies, including Apple and Google, are able to gather.
In January 2012, Google introduced its Unified Privacy Policy, which gathered together privacy policies of 60 different products. This unprecedented policy allowed Google to gather more information on its users than ever before and to build a picture of private individuals' habits more complete and personalized than any data collection service had ever officially managed before. The purpose behind this all-encompassing privacy policy is to enhance and improve Google's own AdSense program to provide the most precisely targeted ads in the world, for which corporate clients will pay a healthy fee. So just what does Google know about you? Well, you can find out fairly easily. If you have a Google account, log into it and you can go to your ad settings page. This will tell you the bare basic of what Google knows about you, your gender, your age, group, and your interests. For instance, to have a Google Plus account, you must tell Google your age and gender. Google's list of interest categories is extensive, from films and TV to psychology to surfing. Many users have reported a surprising variety in the categories assigned to them. Typically, Google attaches 30 interests to each user, a somewhat scattergun approach. That means Google's guesses are almost as likely to be perfect as completely wrong. In September 2014, the staff of the Verge website studied the accuracy of Google's basic user profiles, and the results were roughly 50/50, and the results were roughly 50/50, but undeniably much more accurate than they were expecting. The amusing occasional inaccuracy of Google's ad settings may soon be a thing of the past, especially with the rise of the smartphone. Google's Android operating system runs nearly 1 billion phones, making it the most used smartphone OS in the world. But Google now can also be used on other operating systems, meaning it potentially affects another 750 million people. In other words, every smartphone user in the world. Google now uses GPS locators to gather data on your daily activities. It calculates where you work and where you live based on the amount of time you spend in different locations, irregularity with which you visit them, and the time of a day you usually go there. It can also use this information to estimate the distance you have traveled in a day and the amount of exercise you have done. By using the OK Google voice search, Google records your vocal patterns, ostensibly to better interpret what you say into the phone. According to the Mirror newspaper, Google now has even correctly guessed who users' girlfriends and boyfriends are. Google says that all of this is designed to provide the best tailored smartphone experience in the world. It will recommend events in your local area as well as set reminders for work, shopping, and real-time weather and traffic updates. And if you are one of the 37% of people who use Google Chrome as their default browser, it will know you even better by combining your web search history and bookmarks pages with the information Google now already has.
Google has the turn of $300 million annually. It has access to the browsing habits of 60% of all internet users. So what does Google know about you? Well, if you subscribe to Google Chrome, Google Plus, and Google Now, then Google accurately knows your gender, your age, your entire browsing history, what you like to buy, what you like to watch and listen, to where you live and where you travel, how fit you are, and what your voice even sounds like. It also knows who your friends and relatives are and what are all their interests and activities.
Based on all this information, it thoroughly knows your interests and how susceptible you are to the adverts it throws your way. Say for instance, Google detected that you go cycling every day. It might place an advert for a gym in your area. And if you click on the link, Google will know. If you actually go to the gym, Google will also know as long as you have your phone with you. In 2014, Google launched its new Nest integration service to remotely control your central heating. It probably won't be too long before Google has all your household appliances hooked up. The extent of Google's influence and data gathering has caused concern. The European Union has introduced the individual's right to be forgotten. So Google has to remove and the online data they hold for a person at their request. More recently, the Netherlands has just threatened Google with a $15 million fine if it doesn't amend its unified privacy policy.
The fact of the matter is that we are being watched. Whatever we do, where we are, all are recorded by minutes, hours, and days, and months. Unknowingly or innocently, we are telling all about the secrets in public. Now, this data are used for advertisement purpose.
But think about this. What will happen if it gets into the hands of the coming world government, the Antichrist? These data will be used to chase down all those who are against his rule, as Hitler did to the Jews. As Judas, who was with Jesus for 3.5 years, betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver, we all have a betrayer. In fact, we care for it dearly. We always look at it and take it wherever we go. It's none other than our very own smartphones.
What is mentioned in the Bible that are going to take place in the end times are taking place in our lifetime. All this shows that we are living in the last days. The Lord Jesus Christ is coming very soon. Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to tune into the Science Lab next time. Remember, signs are happening because Lord Jesus is coming.
Maranatha.
Maranatha.